Coming up on Mountain News this morning, 2 inmates escaped from the Bell County Forestry Camp and are still on the loose. And meteorologists with the National Weather Service say as the temperatures cool, there are things to keep in mind and watch out for.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning. I'm Amelia Lee here with you on this Wednesday, August 27th. It's 6:29 this morning. And Megan, a bit of a chilly start to our Wednesday, but I'm so happy about it. You're just going to see me smiling more and more as the weeks, the days, the months progress.
Oh yeah, I'm excited for fall. I'm just not looking forward to winter. That's what I have to keep in mind, is fall just means we're getting closer to the very cold season. And this morning you are going to start to feel some of that chilly air as you're heading out the door. 40s for some folks out in the region, 45 for Irvin, 46 in Grundy, 44 in Clintwood. Definitely too chilly for me. This afternoon, though, we will see some warmth into the 70s. A nice fall-like day is setting back up again for your Wednesday. High temperatures ranging from 68 degrees to 78 degrees for your 4 o'clock hour. Now, in terms of the rain chances, will stay nice and clear. Definitely nothing to complain about there. Sunny skies all day long. High temperatures again around that 4 o'clock time frame. Amelia.
Now we know who died in a crash Monday night on US 25 in Laurel County. Deputies say it happened about 6 miles south of London. They say 87-year-old Edward Queen was walking on the roadway and was hit by an SUV driven by 45-year-old Kenneth Woods. A second vehicle driven by 44-year-old Samantha Swift of Frankfort also hit Queen. He was taken to St. Joseph Hospital in London, where he was pronounced dead. Woods and Swift were not hurt. 2 inmates escaped from the Bell County Forestry Camp. The camp is just outside of Pineville. Kentucky State Police Trooper Shane Jacobs says the 2 inmates are Billy Potter and Stephen Spencer. Jacobs says Potter was last seen wearing khaki pants, a white shirt, and black boots. Spencer was last seen wearing white tennis shoes, gray sweatpants, and a gray sweatshirt. Jacobs says, contrary to the photo released, Spencer has since shaved his head of hair.
But we do know that they have ties to the Franklin County and Greenup County community. So we're just asking the public that if you're out there, you see these 2 individuals, whether it's walking on the road, they may be hitchhiking, trying to make a ride, get rides to a different destination, then please contact 911 or your local law enforcement agency, and let's try to get them located as quickly as possible.
Jacobs says if you see the 2, call Kentucky State Police or your local law enforcement agency. Powell County community members say they're still shocked following Brian Epperson's murder indictment. Last month, Epperson was charged in connection with the death of 32-year-old Kristen Morris from an apparent overdose. Since then, detectives linked Epperson to other cases with similar circumstances. But so far, he's only been charged in the Powell County case. And we are told many folks know Epperson because he did construction in the area.
I would have trusted him to give my old lady a ride home. Just knowing that you can spend so much time with someone and not really know who they are and not truly trust them ever is shocking.
This isn't Epperson's first time facing a murder charge. Court records show he was originally charged with murder in 2011 after hitting and killing someone while he was driving under the influence. However, he was later convicted on a lesser charge of second-degree manslaughter. A Laurel County man is behind bars after deputies say he tried to break into a home. The sheriff's office says 33-year-old James Franklin Cornett was found at a back door trying to kick it open. The homeowner told deputies that she had no idea who he was. Deputies say Cornett smelled of alcohol and appeared to be under the influence. He was arrested and faces multiple charges, including burglary, criminal mischief, menacing, and resisting arrest. A Floyd County woman who was arrested after police say she killed her father is no longer in custody. But what does that mean for the murder charge she's facing? WYMT's Buddy Forbes has the latest.
22-year-old Summer Adkins was arrested in June, charged with murder for the shooting death of her father. She was placed on house arrest but was released from custody earlier this month. However, attorneys say that order to release does not mean the case is over. Investigators say Adkins called 911 and turned herself in after shooting her father, 62-year-old Jimmy Harvey, in his Prestonsburg home June 9th. She appeared in court 1 week later, where the defense shared details claiming the shooting took place because Adkins was sexually abused by her father as a child, and she believed he was perpetrating the same crimes against her young niece. She was released on house arrest following that court hearing, with the defense team and Commonwealth agreeing she was not a risk to anyone else, and her case was sent before a grand jury. On August 15th, Judge Johnny Ray Harris signed an order releasing her from house arrest and the conditions of her bond, because a grand jury failed to indict Adkins within the 60-day window required by the rules of criminal procedure. However, Commonwealth's attorney Brent Turner says the order to release Adkins has no bearing on the grand jury and is simply a routine rule when a defendant has not been indicted within that 60-day time frame. So the charge has not been dismissed just because Adkins is no longer in custody. After that order from Judge Johnny Ray Harris, the defense submitted a motion to dismiss the case. However, Commonwealth's attorney Brent Turner says it is still pending before a grand jury. Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
The order to release Adkins said the grand jury met on June 25th and returned 15 indictments, but Adkins was not included in that list. A Corbin woman is facing drug trafficking charges after a follow-up investigation in Laurel County. The sheriff's office says it happened August 24th at an apartment off Robert E. Cox Road. Deputies say 66-year-old Lola Mae Wilson smelled of marijuana, and a search turned up a large amount of marijuana, scales, cash, and needles. They also found texts about drug sales, and deputies say Wilson admitted to selling marijuana for extra income. The Shaping Our Appalachian Region, or SOAR Summit, is underway in Corbin. The first day featured sessions on a variety of topics, and there was a screening last night of Final Destination, including a live Q&A with screenwriter and Breathitt County native Jeffrey Reddick. Sessions will continue today with the SOAR Inspire Awards at 6:30. We'll have a reporter in Corbin and have coverage in our newscasts the rest of this week. Well, the fall season will be here before you know it. Meteorological fall starts on September 1st. A meteorologist with the National Weather Service says as the temperatures cool, there are things to keep in mind and watch out for.
Now, one thing that does become an almost nightly occurrence here in eastern Kentucky, especially in our river valleys, is dense fog. So if you're getting out and going relatively early in the morning, that's something you're going to want to keep in mind.
Most folks typically follow the astronomical calendar, which says fall does not start until September 22nd. Recent dry weather has some folks concerned about the possibility of fires getting out of control. There's already been at least one grass fire in southern Kentucky. Burn bans are also in place in some Kentucky counties. WYMT's Phil Pendleton has the details on what happened Monday in Somerset.
Fire quickly scorched about an acre of grassland off Garner Road near Somerset Monday. Fire crews were dispatched, and they said that it didn't take long to put it out. The cause is unknown.
This time of year, it could have been anything. A hot ember off of a hot works. It could have been, someone could have threw a cigarette out a window. It could have been any number of different things.
This fire shows how fast things can get out of hand, and with dry weather, it only makes it worse.
We're concerned about any outside burning, and especially unattended outside burning. It can get away from you pretty quick.
I spoke with an official with the Kentucky Division of Forestry. They say they are closely monitoring the situation, but there have been no extra warnings or precautions issued because of the current conditions. Burn bans are in place in a handful of Kentucky counties, including Casey County. Officials there say that it's mainly out of precaution. People say the main thing is to pay attention to what you're doing.
Even a burn barrel, even as safe as they can be, a lot of times if it's unattended, you've got dry works around where you're at, it can easily catch stuff on fire.
Fire officials say even if you are having a control burn, let emergency officials know so first responders won't be called. In Pulaski County, Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
The statewide fall fire hazard season begins October 1st, and that means from that time until December 15th, you're not allowed to burn within 150 feet of the woods or brush from 6 in the morning until 6 at night. In 2023, about 16.5% of Kentuckians didn't always know where their next meal was coming from. That's according to data from the nonprofit Feeding America. Yesterday, state leaders came to Lexington to take action. Governor Andy Beshear proclaimed September as Hunger Action Month. Now, state and local leaders join to push Kentuckians to be their best, saying no matter your age, you need to be nourished.
You have an opportunity to make a difference in a child's life today. You have an opportunity to make a difference in your community today. As we come into September and Hunger Action Month, you can volunteer, you can donate, you can show up for your neighbors right now.
A portion of the presentation focused on the impact of schools feeding their students. The official start of Hunger Action Month is Monday. Well, some folks are voicing their frustration on social media about another possible rate increase from Kentucky Power. The company announced on its website it'll file a base rate review with the PSC, requesting to adjust rates to recover increased costs. The proposed increase is nearly 15% for residential customers and 13 to 15% for commercial and industrial customers. The new rates are projected to be in place in the spring of 2026, and you can learn more details about this on our website, WYMT.com. With the technology we have, it's very easy to find yourself in front of a screen for hours. But is too much screen time taking a toll on your skin? Dermatologists with the Cleveland Clinic say it's possible because the light our devices give off can affect our skin. Devices like phones, tablets, TVs, and even certain light fixtures can emit a type of visible light called blue light. Being exposed to blue light over time can potentially lead to things like fine lines and dark spots.
The iron oxide or tinted sunscreens are the only ones that are going to be effective against this visible light. If you're using just a white-based sunscreen, it almost inevitably does not have iron oxide in it, so check the inactive ingredients.
Dermatologists add that you can also reduce your exposure by lowering the brightness of your devices and cutting back on screen time in general.
We are nice and clear this morning. That dry trend will just continue throughout the day, along with those cooler temperatures that we're seeing this morning. Now, we won't be hanging on to those 40s all day long, but take a look at what you can expect as you're heading out the door this morning. 44 degrees as you travel towards Irvin and Clintwood. Warmest temperatures right now 55 as you travel towards Monticello. This afternoon, though, we are looking at a mixture of those 70s, mostly the upper 70s for more of our western counties, and you'll see those low 70s popping out for our far eastern counties. So here's what you need to know as you're heading off to the bus stop this morning. Temperatures will be in those low 50s with sunny skies, and as you're heading home, well, we're looking at clear skies once again, temperatures in the mid 70s. Amelia.
Well, thanks so much for joining us at 6:41 on Mountain News this morning. The rise in use of GLP-1 drugs to help treat diabetes and aid in weight loss isn't just impacting how people eat. We've got the details.